Hello everyone and welcome to another Television 2 video. Today with game 2 between Koenig and Mimile in the May open tournament with the rules that you have to pick Southern Front divisions only, and of course it's Axis versus Allied. This time Koenig is on the Allied side, so I guess he was player 1 because player 1 basically always picks the Allies because they don't only have better divisions overall in their mix, but also more for some reason, and that kind of creates some imbalances. Now Mimile Koenig has picked Task Force 45, which is very surprising to me. I feel like there's other divisions available that might be better for this map. Task Force 45 it doesn't really have that much CQC that I feel like you can really contest against the Rössel, but also it is just kind of mediocre overall, and I feel like there's other options. Now maybe Koenig just wants to try something out, which is very respectable. I mean, you gotta do these kind of things as well. Now, Emil, on the other hand, has picked a very solid pick for this map, which is unter dem Rösselsprung. He's playing it on Vanguard, the famous Vanguard Rössel. We all know it. It has a pretty potent mix for this map specifically, and one or two other maps. Not outside of those, it's probably not that good. But yeah, definitely a very interesting matchup. And I think we're just gonna look at the decks, and then we get right into the action. And we can not start with Task Force 45, the odd choice here that we really haven't seen in ages. I'm not so sure if it works well on this map. My guess is that Koenig just wants to give it a try because it has now the Partigiani as of the latest patch, and that definitely gives it a little bit more power. So yeah, anyway, but I just don't know where you would ever want to play this. It's not that it is the worst division, but it's just there's pretty much every map, even with some bans, you have better options. But anyway, in Recon now we do have the ammo in Pioneers, which is nice because, first of all, Bazooka, which, considering the light armor that Rösselsprung gets, is useful, and also you get an extra TNT, which is actually quite nice as well, since this division does not have a ton of CQC. Cavalry Scouts are Cavalry Scouts, no need to introduce them any further. M8s, you know them. Then the T-70 is basically a Hellcat without the APCR, but only 50 points. It's really nice as an opener, actually, because you can zoom forward and has the range, right? So this thing is actually pretty good. It's kind of like a long-range M8 in the way you use this. That's basically what it comes down to. In we have the Converted Gunners UK, which I think we've seen them. Converted Gunners US are pretty chunky, so that actually is pretty decent. Otherwise, I mean, they have lots of M8s. M1s, which add up, but only just one BAR. For this, we are actually going to see a card. Then Engineers, we know them. Leader as well. I don't know how you correctly pronounce that in Portuguese, yeah, it's basically just the Engineers, a little slightly different weapons, different rifle, different submachine guns, nothing special. These air rifles is actually pretty good as well. It's kind of your what's it called? Your rifle's late, but you get a bazooka on top of it, which is pretty nice. Then Partigiani are sort of a hybrid / CQC unit. The problem is they don't really have much of a CQC loadout. They don't have many machine guns. They do have automatic rifles, but they're not really good. They do have a Molotov though, so it can work at CQC. Now what's really nice about them though is of course having the radar trait. That really can be very useful, especially on this map, and then just more Nisei rifles as well. So quite C-phase heavy actually for Vanguard, but you know, if you grind it out with Vanguard versus Vanguard, you have to plan for the longer game as well. Tank tab, just Shermans and Stuarts, but it's not the good Shermans. Support tab, M8, and then 50 cals, which are pretty nice actually. You get better availability, and I think they're also 5 points cheaper, but they are disheartened. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there. So if you actually want to find another machine gun, that might not work that well, but if you just want to bully into it, it's actually fantastic. Supplies, 105. Now, actually, I'm recording this after having casted the game. So you will hear me saying that there's not much to gain Koenig's deck. I just absolutely overlooked it when I just looked at the deck real quick before starting casting. This is not true. He actually does have the 105 in B phase as well. So he actually has a decent amount, which I think this is where he can actually dominate. A T-tab, you only get 6 founders in B phase, but you know, he brings 2 card, which is reasonable. AA tab, the M16, which I'm not really sure, or I wasn't really sure when I looked at it first if it's going to be used as anti-infantry, because I can kind of see that since Mimile has a lot of relatively expensive and hard to deal with infantry. Or if you want to use it as AA, then M15s, 90mm, and that's about it. Artillery tab, the 75mm, which at double that is actually quite decent, I think, with radio. 81mm mortar, artillery leader in a B phase, and the air tab actually really light. You can really go air spamming here, but I guess he expects that he has too much pressure on the ground by Mimile, would be my guess, to really be able to do a lot of airplay. He only brings the P-47 napalm flame in B phase and a card of fighters in A phase. And on the other side, you have Unternehmen Rösselsprung, a powerhouse in CQC, very infantry heavy, and its best placed Blade Vanguard because it has some significant weaknesses in some tabs. In the recon, we have the Brandenburg Aufklärer. It's just a nice little recon unit with radio. Then at the SKB Fusilier, which is a sniper single machine gun unit, which is pretty useful. SPWs. The AB-43 is very noteworthy because it has a 47mm, and this thing is actually pretty good. Infantry tab, we do have, I mean, the infantry tab is basically always the same. With some variations, like in which phases you put how many Brandenburger, and 1 or 2 units are usually exchanged, but most of them are the same throughout all the builds that we've seen so far. You have the Kosaken Pioneer, it's just a 15-point Pioneer unit, which is pretty nice because it's cheap and still has a DP machine gun. Then we have the FS Stoßjäger, which is pretty cool. It's actually pretty. It's a decent CQC unit because it has submachine guns and a TNT. Gebirgspioneer is, yeah, it doesn't have regular TNT. That's the Cherokee bombs. Otherwise, nothing special. SS Fallschirmjäger is this is also quite nice. It's basically a weaker Brandenburger. It doesn't have the commando. It has only MG34, but otherwise, kind of similar concept of a hybrid unit, which is pretty good. It is part of what makes this division so good. And then Brandenburger, of course, I don't need to introduce it. Then in B phase you have the SS Gebirgsstreif. It's basically a slightly worse Gebirgs. What are they called? You know, the regular Gebirgs infantry unit, which is pretty good actually. Nothing wrong with that. Tank tab, all light tanks, some captured French and I guess the other one is an Italian one. Some of them are decent. The 35S has at least good armor, but of course that only helps against light armor, not against a proper tank. The L6 is an auto-can, so that can still be useful, but of course very limited in its use. Support tab, the usual machine gun ammo, LG42, and then the Gebirgs IG-18, which is pretty nice as well. I mean, it's an IG-18, but it has more heat shells, and for some reason it feels like this thing actually lands way more often with shots, but maybe it's just the frequency of the shots that make it look that way. Anyway, pretty good unit. AT tab, the usual there as well. Pack 38, Pack 40, the Pack 36, and some Panzerschreck. AA tab, also the usual. You don't get much more than that. You can take like a drilling unit, which is really not that good. So you just take this. Artillery tab, you get the K35, of course, which is an absolutely fantastic artillery piece, one of the best. And then the Gebirgs 36, which is a double vet. It's not too bad, but if you put the battery fuel next to it, it's actually pretty good. And then air tab, which is, this is a recon bomber that is not that good. It's okay. It has a good loadout, which is why it's expensive. But it has bad resilience. It's not super fast. It's not painfully slow, but it's still slow. So that's kind of meh. Then Veltro, and then of course tank buses, because you really need them with this division. One thing that I, by the way, forgot to point out is that this division does now have some fast transports. Not a lot of them, but it has some of them, and we actually see that now because the MG42 and the Brandenburg and AFS are in a fast transport. He still made it so he still distributed the transports in a way that most of the infantry and AFS cannot come in fast transports, which I don't know, I think is odd, but you can definitely do it that way. And here we are again. I think we're just going to go to deployment right away. We've seen this map plenty of times, and I've talked about it plenty of times, right? Blue has a little bit easier time grabbing these flags at the start, which allows for a little bit more pressure early on, which can make all the difference. What is important, though, regarding the map and deployment and matchup is I think Koenig probably has a bit of an advantage in the center, since he technically has more 2K, or even though we don't see that much in his deck, which surprised me a little bit. And it's just more range tool in general. Now, Mimile will definitely have the advantage in the Yellow Forest. If Koenig can keep his armor alive, though, he can still dominate in these kind of areas a little bit, but he has to be very, very careful with how he uses that. So let's actually start with him. So he actually goes not strong for the centers, but strong for the flanks, which, again, it can kind of go both ways, really. This can be a very good play. This can also, and kind of counter Mimile there, but it can also go south very easily. So you have some infantry ammo in Pioneers, a lot of armor to support. But you have to be careful. You know, in these areas, light armor can actually do a lot of damage, but you also need to be very careful with it because these areas, like Orsha North, is not always kind to armor in these spots because it's so easy to get Panzerschreck there. Mimile also responds with a strong push over there, although he's a little bit slower overall. He has some fast transport, and I think this is going to be very important in some areas, but like everywhere, it is very handy, of course. He brings an early Pack 36, and then some SPWs and the Panzer 35F. So, you know, there's definitely some tools. I also see Brandenburger there, which is going to be tough to get through for Koenig. Then a defensive deployment here with some recon and infantry. Early Pack 38 for the center. The center for Koenig is not really that strongly contested. T-70, which is super fast and can potentially snipe some transport here, actually. And then a 50 cal. For the rest of the center, he brings... Yeah, he goes into here, goes into very defensively. So if he doesn't even try to contest this, if Mimile goes for it, he can basically have it. Does Mimile go for it? He not really. And this is where I was going to say, I think the new transports that Rössel gets really matter because you have a chance of actually contesting this and get in here and apply pressure. But he doesn't do it. I guess he's afraid of the M8, which is very reasonable. Just trying to secure this flag off going into this one and some things like the one SPW rushing forward. I can still try to get in there from here, which he also doesn't do. Defensive deployment here, SPW pushing forward aggressively, defensive deployment over there. Koenig, meanwhile, going aggressive here, so he tries to grab. This is a very classical move, and truly, Koenig can get a massive advantage with the tools that he has if he really gets Mimile out of here early on, because Mimile will probably really struggle hard to get back in there. And Koenig does have the tools to kind of prevent that. So, yeah, very interesting deployment, though. I guess Mimile has decided to, first of all, do the same here to Koenig. Because once Mimile is in this foresty area, Koenig will not get him out there. And that's going to be super tough. We also see an early recon plane. Some 50 cals here to stop that, but Koenig is on the move order, so they don't stop to shoot. You always have to remember that with the 50 cal units. In case you forget sometimes, try to remember this. I do all the time. And we do see a blind bombing. Now, he's targeting the ground now, since he's afraid, I guess, that his plane will actually change. Since sometimes the recon planes fail to target it. That's very dirty. But also, Koenig unloaded it, expecting that the bomber is going after it and will kind of miss if he unloads early. But unfortunately for Koenig, that just meant that this thing stopped right where the bombs are dropping. Very unfortunate there. Now, triple star M8 will shred this SPW. Really sure about that. There we go, first pen. SPW. Oh, this is... Oh, no. Didn't realize it. That's the one with this gun, and it fires super fast. Never mind, I thought this was a regular one. Ammo and Pioneers gets shot off, kills it though, but it will probably go down in return. And that's a lot of the crucial light armor down here now. And the bazooka. So the Panzer 35 SF there. SF is going to be a big problem. Pack 36 also kills the MS Scott, even though it's on very suppressed. Well, I mean, the battery, if you're doing the thing there. I think Mimile probably, first of all, as I was going to say, when the deployment happens, tries to get in here, but might also be deciding to first trade well, because he has a lot of tools that are hard to kill. So he maybe goes for trades first and then decides to go for anything for aggression later on. He doesn't have super fast transport, so trades, of course, where aggression is a little bit harder. Ammo Pioneer's going to get through the back line. If it runs again into Storsjäger or the Brandenburg, it's just going to die easily. Bombing here misses the cavalry scouts, so that bazooka there is going to survive. Now in the center, it looks like the SPW got in, and I kind of miss again. This is also 47mm one, so that's very key, actually. It's very important. We do see converter gunners coming in, UK and US versions, more cavalry scouts, and a Stewards to deal with that. Tank there. Sorry, Storsjäger now pushing forward very aggressively, as nothing here is actually covering this. Fallschirmjäger pushing forward as well. Applying a lot of pressure. Does this also have radar? I actually forgot. We've seen it when looking at the deck, but I don't remember. Oh, Ju-87's getting in. Don't know if he killed anything. Tried to go for more by the looks of it, but I guess lost line of sight. Is there a wreckage somewhere? Something is here. That's a transport. No, it's not a transport, SPW, but that's one of Mimile, so that certainly didn't die to that. No, it doesn't look like he got anything. Probably was going after the M8, and the M8 probably fell back. Or it was going after the steward, and the smokes from the cavalry scout saved it. One of the two things probably happened. Down south, we do Mimile pushing forward. See Mimile pushing forward. Gesackenpennier versus Converter Gun, another good fight for the Converter Gun. None of these here can really deal well with the Gesackenpennier. Once the Gesackenpennier runs out of ammo, then they will be able to overwhelm it super easily. However, that's not really the way you want to go about it. Koenig does a nice thing by just running and shooting. So if this thing never gets the grenades off, which it doesn't by the looks of it, they can just wear it down constantly. This requires a lot of micro though. But this is how you can win against grenade throwers. Right? You just kind of move in and out constantly and wear it down slowly. Works better with SMG units than with these guys. But apparently it works with these as well. I mean, the M8s here help a lot, right? It's not an SMG, but it does damage, and that's what matters here. Only cavalry scouts, so these two flags actually really close of falling to Mimile. But reinforcements here have arrived, making sure that the flags in the town do not fall. But, I mean, this is dangerous. This is letting Mimile know that there's not that much here. Now, there's actually a little bit here with recon. That does matter, but still. Looks like the SPW here got killed, I assume, by the T-70. Which is, I've seen it over there at some point. So far, this flag not fallen yet. Brandenburger pushing towards the edge of the forest, though. Up north, this flag re-grabbed by Mimile. Back to 3011. We have to check where that is, but I want to see the situation here real quick, because we have an early M16 in. There's definitely enough to spot that recon plane. And... oh, no, this flag. Yeah, makes sense. This flag. This is where the 3011 comes from. Actually, going to bring it to 1410. Do you have a 9mm in early? Interesting. I mean, it can kind of cover off this area, so that makes sense. RT-70 kills the Panzer 35, but goes down in return. P-51 now coming in to deal with that recon plane. Gets the kill. I mean, it was the other units here already did the work. Brandenburger just absolutely shreds Converter Gunner UK. Cavalry Scouts and Leader coming in. I mean, they have some M1s, but both of them together, probably maybe enough. And the 90mm is certainly helping. P-51 tried to go for some strafing around as well. SPW is going to be a problem here, but the Cavalry Scouts is there, so it's actually, no, it's actually not that big of a problem. Never mind. Disregard me. But Mimile bringing out. Mimile is feeling very secure, I think here. His push down south is going reasonably well. Up north he's under a little bit of pressure, but it looks like he felt secure enough to be able to bring 3 of these. And they're not super expensive either. It's like 40 points. Together with Batteryführer. Now they do have radio, and he has 3 of them to get a triple star. So they can actually shred quite a bit. Now, let's see where he unleashes them on. This. Okay. J87, I think, got the kill on the steward here, but the M16 is forcing it off. Rösselsprung cannot really do much here. It needs to wait for anything to get too close, but it's basically invisible because of the radar trade. So it just shreds anything that gets close, but on that, it can't really do much. These guys are already retargeted. Going after 90mm now. He does have... no, that's not his radio. Yeah, that's Koenig's radio. He does have radio, but it doesn't reach far enough. If Koenig continues moving this, maybe... no. No, too far. So Koenig... oh no, Mimile has adjusted. Koenig actually moving into it. It's very unfortunate for him. I'm not really sure if that's actually worth it. I mean, it's an expensive target. And Mimile has pointed out multiple times to me in my own... in you know the videos where I show my own games that it is very important to kill high value targets, but I feel like it's not so easy to kill it because of the spread. So maybe it's better to just go after everything, like all the things in here. Recon plane coming again for bombing on the Stoßjäger. Got the grenade down on the converter gunners, but no more than that. Vandenberg is disengaging. SSKB's Pioneer is engaging now. And the 35F is coming in as well. The cavalry scouts are still there though. That's going to be a problem. We do have more SS Fallschirmjäger coming in as well. P-51 is probably going to shoot another one of these down as there is no AA. Okay, Veltro is trying to stop that. But it's also going to get forced off by the decals there. At least if it flies directly over it. So the P-51, oh, flak filling unloaded early as it was called in. Shoots down the P-51. Veltro, I don't know, should get out of there. I don't think the 50 cals can kill it, but it can definitely do a lot of pinning. If the Veltro doesn't stop, it will probably get killed eventually. Trying to go for some strafing. Koenig grabbing this flag for good now. 13-11 for Mimile, still there with him holding the two southern flags, despite him having lost the northern one and this one. Oh, he also grabbed this one. He grabbed 3 southern flags. I was going to say, as I was counting this one and the northern one, that 2 versus 2 doesn't really bring it to a 13-11, doesn't it? Mimile just continues to pushing forward. I mean, this is the good thing if you have... This is the strength of the Brandenburg and the SS Fallschirmjäger, right? Having hybrid units everywhere and then having like these really good CQC units on top of it is just so strong. Because you can truly dominate that CQC, which he already does. Then you have the efficient Cossack company as well. But you have the SS Fallschirmjäger and the Brandenburger who can just push regardless where you have them. They will do super well, especially the Brandenburger will just win. It doesn't really matter where they are. 81mm mortar, by the looks of it, has been trying to go after the 30... The Gebirgsgeschütz 36, or the 75mm, or whatever you want to say. Oh no, the 75mm is probably going after them. No. Not sure what's doing. Oh, it's shooting directly. Oh, it's a siege shell. I was forgetting about that. But yeah, something has been trying to go after these. Mimile has responded with going after the 81mm mortar, which is mobile though, so not really a point in doing that. I think it's the first Sherm that we see now in the game. It's none up north. Yeah, I think it's the first Sherm that we see. Koenig calling in Shermans to deal with situation down south by the looks of it. There's not that much AT here, actually. The AT is on the way, though. It's the 36, the Pack 36, which can definitely one-shot this if the heat shell goes off. Otherwise, I think Koenig can really dominate with this right here. We also have luck filling in down south to prevent any sort of airplay by Koenig, which is definitely reasonable. We all know Koenig, he lost his airplay, so you have to expect a lot of airplay to come from him eventually. Now, this flag has been re-grabbed, but it's only momentarily as the Fallschirmjäger and the Kosaken might be able to re-grab this. And up north, we do see some reinforcements coming in the front line, slowly pushing, but Koenig needs to get through the forest, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem, because this is where Mimile is actually very, very strong. Now, he can micro, of course, with his engineers, or however you say that, the Brazilian engineers. I don't know how you... Not really... I know it's not even Spanish, it's Portuguese, right? So then I have even less of an idea how you pronounce that, actually. But yeah, these guys... I mean, they're relatively cheap, and, you know, if you can just ground attack with them, that works. But it is micro-intensive, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Now we have another blob of converted gunners, US and UK, together with the leader pushing in down south. So this thing actually it has a discipline trait, which is pretty big. So that means that these guys are not actually disarmed at the moment. And, I mean, they sure do have a punch. You know, that does matter. Well, Gunners UK, on the other hand, not so much, get absolutely shredded by the Gebirgspanier and the Fallschirmjäger. Brandenburg now on the way as well. This one is very low on health, though, by the looks of it. Yeah, it's really only one man. And now we have a row of L6s and P... What's that? M15s coming in. And that's going to be super annoying here. Now, Koenig's armor can technically deal with that. But in order for him to do so, he probably needs a Sherm there, which is not the case. The 75mm are awkwardly silent again. I feel like you really want to use them to their maximum potential. So I'm a bit surprised. Oh, LG42 kills the 90mm here. So it's really focused on both flanks. Not much playing in the center at all. Although Mimile somehow managed to get the Stoßjäger in here, holding this flag. The converted gunners UK did not spot that. Don't ask me how that's working. He also managed to push, wow, I think that was the one that was in here. He actually also managed to push one across here. The M4 HST is actually pinning it, but it still managed to surrender the, what's that, converted gunners over there. But the good thing is, we are for a while now in B phase. The good thing is that Koenig actually has normal infantry now. Converted gunners are not actually that bad, in my opinion. We do have, oh, wow, nice movement around here. Brandenburger and Gebirgspanner. And Loach just in time as the 6-pounder was going to snipe that. Up north, we have another one of the recon bombers, together with a Ju-87 and the Veltro, which I guess tried to bait out the AA. Now there's an M15 in there. This is a bit more of a problem. Oh, crit on that thing over there. Ju-87, I guess, was trying to go after the M15. We used to have an M16, right? The first thing that we saw was an M16. Might have gone down somewhere over here. We don't know. Something, might be this right here. Yeah. So I did remember that correctly. I was just wondering if I always looked at remembered the wrong thing, but it is an M15 that is there now, and it didn't used to be there. Engineers versus Brandenburger. Oh, still get the grenade of Brandenburger survives because it is a Brandenburger. And the SS Gebirgspanzer is also there, which, I mean, look at this thing. It's just so chunky. 15 man. And it throws this thing reasonably fast. Twice as fast as the... Oh no. Never mind. That's not the same thing. I thought it's the same thing as the... something else. But it is not. Brandenburger trying another push here. And Zaya rifles trying to stop that. I mean, there's a lot here. So it's not super easy to get through that. They are triple star, but still... Oh, killing the leader. I'm not sure if Mimile spotted that there and deliberately attacked it. That just so happened. 59 for a brief moment with these two flags scrapped, but it doesn't look like they're very firmly secured, so they're probably going to fall relatively soon. Also, these up here cannot do all that much without armor, which is just about to arrive. Not pushing up yet, though. Edimil Mortar still alive. SS Fallschirmjäger engaging now the converted gunners. This block protecting these converted gunners. And all of a sudden it looks like Mimile might grab the center here, despite him not really having the division for that. 2 Gebirgs G18 now moving in. And these things are absolutely fantastic. They are a true armor killer, even though you're not expecting them to be. But they can really slap. So Koenig is really struggling. Well, and I mean, this is the problem. Like, even if you don't have the income advantage, on a map like this, Rössel has such an advantage. Doesn't matter if it doesn't have the income advantage because you're both playing Vanguard, but it has so good units. The Brandenburger are so strong, and they're just so versatile. These guys, very efficient, actually pumping out some damage. With the submachine guns, doing some suppression, still have the explosive. The Brandenburger PO, fantastic unit as well. The SS Fallschirmjäger, just a very cost-efficient hybrid unit. Or not very cost-efficient, it is a good hybrid unit, right? You get the MP40, it doesn't have the shock, which sucks, but still MP40s and Geballte Ladung are better than having only one of them or none of them, and the MG34, of course, not MG42, but still you have all that versatility that is so useful. 105 here is going to be a little bit of a problem. Yeah, and now all of the light armor gets picked apart because yeah, it just cannot contest these two tanks. So I think that might have been a little bit overconfident. This thing also great, by the way. Also, it's not a true hybrid unit, but it maybe kind of is because, I mean, the MG26 is not the best in machine gun, but it is chunky at least. It has some rifles. It has a machine gun. As Gebirgsfusilier here being annoying. The one thing that I can do best. More Brandenburger coming in. And again, Mimile just being able to block this off super easily. Skippy Spanier doing his thing. Brandenburger getting involved too. Absolutely shredding. More Brandenburger coming in. This flag re-grabbed, this one still holding because of the engineers and the 50 cal over there. But this could definitely be changed if he really wants to. He is about to, although he might lose that to the... No, Cavalry Scout is out of position. Let's actually check what's up north. And these guys are getting involved again up north. But yeah, I mean, this is the problem. This is where Koenig has an advantage, right? His infantry, especially CQC, is cheaper overall. It's not that Mimile doesn't have cheap tools. We have seen the Kosakenpioneer, we have the Stoßjäger. But as a whole, Koenig has cheaper CQC. And that matters because, of course, Mimile couldn't put a lot in here while also putting a lot down south. But I think Mimile also is just kind of, you know, deciding to invest more down south and really secure this. And the center, right, he's pushing in 2 spots right now, so he can give up a third. At the same time, Koenig, of course, is noticing that it's not going super well right here, so he's trying to apply a lot of pressure up north. And once again, once Mimile is out of CQC areas, it's going to be a little bit tougher for him to get back in, and Koenig can really lock things down. So this is just kind of how it goes, right? Mimile grabs ground by getting into CQC area, it's not good for Koenig. If Koenig gets Mimile out of CQC areas, it's really tough for Mimile all of a sudden. This flag still... Or again, a regrab, bring it back to 1410. Now 1311 as another flag falls. Which one? Oh, this one. Brandenburger PO cannot really hold. Oh, Pack 36 kills the Sherman. That's going to push a lot of the advance. M16 still can be used relatively aggressively, but has to be careful. Pack 40 now coming in to cover this off. Flag feeling here in a risky spot. Now the 75 mils are being reloaded and are going after the M16. Look at that massive blob there. We did see the J87 in here. I don't really know what it killed. I guess that was a tank here. Sherman probably. No, that was, yeah. Killed the Sherman over there. We have another 90mm coming in. Over here. Interesting. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Maybe he wants to kind of cover off, like move it forward then and cover off the edge of the hill here. Don't actually know what's the plan there. Beltro still circling, I guess doing some strafing. It's not the best strafer, but you can use it. I don't remember who that was. I've seen someone using it with actually a lot of... Oh, I think it was Protoss versus Bori where he used those to strafe. I mean, if you have tons of them and they're uncontested, they can actually do all right with strafing. Right. Oh, SKB Spanier loses versus the Ingenieros or yeah, whatever. Against the grenade throwers from Koenig. Panzer 35S is going to get shredded by his air rifles. Very soon that brings it back to 1310 once that's happening. Down south, Mimile is about to finally secure this hill off for good. His air rifles and the engineers cannot really do much. Oh, but there's a 105 coming in. That's gonna... Yeah, I think that's going to get across there. Mimile's plans not really going to be super easy for him to pull that through now. Pack 40 can definitely kill that off if he gets to move in position slowly and shoot first. But he has to be a little bit careful with it. Pack 40 going after this 105 over there. This 105 now will probably spot the big strife and wipe those. Armor Pioneer is getting low and the engineers are doing ground attack trick. Didn't even need to throw the TNT as his air rifles managed to kill it off first. Gear Strife now being pinned. So Koenig about to re-grab this flag. J87 trying to go after the Sherman. Oh, gets the kill. Tries to go after 105 in the up north as well, but the 90mm will probably stop that now. The 75mm in the meantime started to soften up these kind of things and immediately going after 90mm. 90mm did indeed push up in a way that it can start covering the edge of the hill here, which takes a lot of Mimile's potential in the open out. But the LG42 is in, and that thing is definitely going to win out against the 90mm. That's going to be a big problem there for Koenig. The 90mm is not cheap. Pack 40 is on anti-infantry duty. It's definitely not what it's meant for, but Koenig is pushing back nicely here. And there's not that much, it's not that easy. Oh, this pack 40 actually saves the day here, but it's under fire by something. Yeah, the 81 Mimile. Orsha is also going for some strafing, but reinforcements are coming in and are desperately needed because he needs to hold that. Back to 12-12, so Koenig slowly stabilized. And if you look at the map, there's it looks relatively equal. Then again, some of the tools that Mimile has are relatively expensive, like the Brandenburger, but he also doesn't have expensive armor. The 105, on the other hand, is not exactly cheap. Third 11 for Mimile once again as he grabs this one again. So the problem that I see here for Mimile is kind of, I think he has ensured his maximum potential here. There's not much more he can do. He's not as actually great for the open. And he could be pushed out here by Koenig. However, as it looks right now, it's actually pushing back in. So that could go really well. If Koenig fails to secure this off, which right now it looks like he is, but I think this is not decided yet, then Mimile has another way back in and he can re-grab this. Where Koenig has his biggest potential is probably the open, right? He should be able to secure this off, grab this flag, and maybe re-grab this. He can definitely start applying pressure on this town as well. But it's not going to be easy at the moment. He's definitely struggling. 90 mil is, by the way, very, very low. 75 mils are working really well against that. The rifles here just re-grab the flag. Gebirgspanier is in a weird spot where they should see each other, but I guess just barely not for some reason, probably because of like one single tree or something like that. Partigiani are now coming in. They can probably start working against the Gebirgspanier 2-1, win that, and then get some room here. Yun just died here though, so that might flip thing. I don't think it's enough. No, it's not, because the units are too far back here. These as well, Partigiani are moving forward. Meanwhile, M15 now coming in to secure the center. I mean, he's lost another Sherman there, so definitely wants to make sure that no planes get through there anymore. This is still, I mean, Miele's definitely had the upper hand throughout the whole game, but I still think this is anyone's game at this point. It's definitely in favor to Mimile, but it's not completely lost for Koenig. But we do have to admit that Koenig will have a rough time because he just doesn't have to sustain in the woods, and that is a potentially very big long-term problem for Koenig. So Koenig needs to either win CQC very soon or find ways to work around winning CQC. Because if he continues to fight CQC and lose, he will run out of his CQC potential altogether. Or supply goes down. That's massive at this point because we are in C phase. You know, even 40 points is almost half the income, and of course supplies are limited. You're not going to bring more artillery at this point anyway, but you are going to need your supplies. And it's, you know, with these mobile pieces, like the 81mm, this is always 75mm goes down as well. This is actually the better way, because killing these, if you can move them all the time, can be tricky. They also don't die as easily. They're open top, so they still die relatively easily, but they don't die as easily as the ammo. But if you can just kill off the ammo, that's already worth it. We have, whoa, this guy, look at that blob. So I guess Mimile has really sensed that things are kind of, you know, slowing down a little bit, that it's getting into a grind in a lot of positions, that Koenig is not super aggressive, which means it's more stationary, which is when artillery is really, really useful. If both players play a very dynamic game of push and pull everywhere, it doesn't work super well, but if things kind of get stale a little bit, then you can go really hard with the artillery. And Koenig, and Mimile also has noticed that Koenig doesn't really have real counter battery, so he can just really afford to do that, because otherwise this is a real risk, right? If your opponent actually has some counter battery tools, you're probably like, you just target this with your counter battery and you basically guaranteed to hit multiple things and you guaranteed to get value. So you don't want to do this, but in this case this really works well, and these things are absolutely fantastic. I mean, 8 rounds a minute of HE and now double that, so it's probably 10, maybe 11 or 12. It's absolutely nuts. Pack 40 gets a crit here on the 105, bailed out. Koenig's probably going to want to repair this, because the 105s are really useful tools for him right now. 14-10 for Mimile still as he re-grabs these 2 flags. Big strife here in a nice little position. Brandenburger Pio trying to win out against the Partigiani, but his air rifles are there to help. Brandenburger Pio is so good. Double flamer, MP40s are now actually good. Commando, of course. 2-on-1 though, we can see the suppression really adding up. So even the Commando cannot win against that. Wow, and they actually lose. Crazy. 2 more coming in though. Partigiani being forced back as well. Brandenburger here just holding, although this one is very low. So it's there's definitely room for Koenig to grab things. But now Mimile is just opening up with everything by the looks of it. It's going after the AA because this is what it, yeah, I mean it's very that's definitely reasonable. Even though it's mobile, I really do get the point because he wants his J87s to get in again to deal with that armor. Because in a pure infantry fight, Mimile will win. Like that's no question. But those Shermans sure are a problem. Another one coming in now, J87 going after this Sherman right here. There's an M15 coming in and an M16 here in the center. It's probably still going to get some shots off. The M15 is, no, now it stops to shoot. But I think it's too late. J87, no, fails to kill. Bounced a couple of times. Did it do some damage? No, not really, no. Welcher doing some strafing, but it's also going to get forced off by the M15. There we go. Brandenburger for the center, trying desperately to re-grab this flag. Make sure the 1410 remains and the pressure remains as well. 59, of course, would be the dream now. The artillery port might be able to make it work, and I think this is now where it certainly looks a little bit better for Mimile. I think because Mimile can just generate a lot of trade, and if Koenig had such an easy time to just overwhelm Mimile anywhere, he would have already done so. So I think that telling us that Koenig's probably not going to be able to switch super fast into a very, you know, agile kind of game, which means that Mimile is going to get a lot of value out of this artillery. Because as long as Koenig remains stationary in an area, Mimile could just blast that. And there's basically nothing you can do now against that. Because this blob of artillery is just so insanely good. Brandenburger got unloaded in the transport by the look of it. Or he got just that much damage in such a short time. It's also possible. Pack 38 coming in. I guess he's trying to bring it in here to push forward and kill that 105 off. Partigiani versus 2 Brandenburger Pioneer. No chance. I mean, it's also 60 points, and that's 60 points of really good CQC, so it's hard to really fight against that. Pack 40 moving into another position as well. Flag filling has been shifted as well. 105 opening up on the Brandenburger. Brandenburger will lose that. But this flag, thanks to the Gebirgsstreif, is still secured for now. Down south, we do see a kind of push by Koenig, a fresh one. He's currently struggling, though. The problem is the infantry here, really. 50 cals are doing a lot of work. Infantry's coming in now, so the problem might soon be solved. There's still a Brandenburger Pioneer here, which is going to be a bit of an issue, but if you're to support that as well. Pack 36 being moved. Oh, SPW AB41 might be able to kill off that M15. That would be absolutely key here, because that means that Sherman here is not safe anymore. There we go, gets a kill. Very crucial kill there. As air rifles move in, I'm not really sure if they're going to get past the Brandenburger Pioneer. That's going to be a problem, because they can definitely take care of the SPW. But they first need to get past that. Yeah, as SKB Streifen might actually be pinned here by his own artillery. Definitely not what you want. I guess Emil forgot to cancel the shooting orders. Now he did. I noticed. No, it's not too late yet. But Johnny here, these guys cannot push further at the Gebirgsstreif. I think this one is only 1 health. Should win out against Partigiani. Can definitely finish that off. There we go. That's another flag from Emil. And just in the right moment, because it would have been 12-12 otherwise. But it's still going to be, I think, Koenig is finally going to re-grab this. Yeah, Brandenburg is overwhelmed. Strauss-Jäger here will not be able to sustain super long either. Sea rifles did manage to get through. It didn't run into Brandenburger Pioneer. I don't know how that worked. I guess it just like walked around here. Something like that. Now, both 2 Partigiani together, or Partigiani engineers, can definitely overwhelm the Brandenburger Pioneer. But it is already moving, so smart move there. Koenig, oh, he didn't shift far enough. Well, the 50 cal still grabbed the flag. It's moving away again. Still 12-12 with Koenig re-grabbing this thanks to his Sherman. The Sherman needs to stop though to actually kill a Pack 40. It's currently shooting at a bit of everything, which is a problem because, yeah, I couldn't kill that pack 40 off. It was 1 health and still managed to finish it off. Wow. And that's not an easy to replace loss. Koenig bring it to 14-10 all of a sudden, though. Regrabbing this flag. Pushing again up north. The cheaper part, Johnny being everywhere, I think is really paying off, actually. That seems to be working. Brandenburg here finishes off one party China. This one can still, yeah, this one can just outrange it, finish it off. You have an M15 coming in and can't really do much. And we do have now a push here, which is also very dangerous. There's no infantry coming. So, they have, you know, they have a juicy target rich environment right here. There's a lot of artillery there. It's relatively undefended, so... Well, Brandenburg are there to save the day by the looks of it. Brandenburg Aufklär also trying to save the day. It's gonna get killed off by the M50 cal there, probably. 42 is just constantly re-aiming by the looks of it. But Charlie being forced off, that's crucial there. But yeah, Mimile all of a sudden not looking super good. I think his investment into artillery maybe was a little bit too early. Maybe that was not the right call here, and Koenig is taking advantage of it. So I guess my initial judgment of Koenig struggling to get into a push very soon actually was pretty wrong. Koenig actually is able to turn it into push. He has failed to grab ground here though. The Brandenburger is secured it off, the Brandenburger Pio here. We also have a lot of things that are burning, so maybe I missed a plane coming in and bombing this. There's definitely the napalm bomber for Koenig. Well, but that actually doesn't really make a lot of sense because Koenig was actually pushing in here. I don't know. I mean, he was losing his units. It must have happened in here. I think 2 of them should win against the Brandenburg Pier. I don't know. Rösselsprung has finally been spotted and pinned. By the Chinese now trying to surrender them. These ones, oh no, they're getting out of the forest. Brandenburg now being able to get in is really bad. Actually, these Brandenburg are finishing off a 6-pounder. Pretty big as well. J87 M15 is in, but yeah, it's too far away. J87 gets a kill. Being called off immediately. Mimile is not greedy and he knows that there is AA, so he just plays it safe, get 1 kill at a time, and slowly get it trades that way. J18 actually managed to get in, and because the Partigiani were forced off, it is in a position where it can now do stuff. Oh, MG42 is going down there. So still, the center here are fully undefended by Mimile. He has a lot of things here, but not a lot of things that you actually want to have fighting. But I guess there's going to be a coming in to hold this, and a Brandenburg MG42. I'm just amazed that he doesn't actually call anything in here to defend this up close. Because I mean, if I was him, I would probably be panicking that things might be happening over there. 3rd 11 for Koenig still. Rösselsprung is still alive here. Brandenburger managed to kill or force off the Partigiani. Maybe that was those. I don't know. 50 cal now versus Brandenburger. But yeah, it's already low. Down it goes. Oh, it's moving forward. There's no tank here for support anymore though. And it's not easy to buy one at this point. So this might actually bring it back to 12 relatively soon. Pack 38 now moving into position. No, not really. Pack 40 moving in position now to finally secure this off. So it looks like Mimile really won the south now. And he's gonna win this very soon as well. There's 2 Brandenburg here as well. I can definitely do the trick over there. Block filling has moved all the way up down here. So he wants to shift his attention for AA coverage to this whole area now instead of just this area down south. But Koenig making a play down in the center. M15 pushing forward very aggressively together with the 105. Can definitely pin at the Pack 40. The question is, oh yeah, Pack 40 finished the Sherman first. That's really bad. Black filling, getting wasted by the M15, but M15 goes down. That's another terrible loss. Because that also means that Mimile can really dominate with his J87 now. There's no AA coverage for this now. There's a Sherman here, which is actually a prime target for it. It's pushing forward as well. The NSA rifles, oh no, they're just moving away. Oh, he wants to kill it. He wants it to kill the tank. He could really just slap here and dominate all of this. He could kill off all the artillery. And the Sherman is there to deal with that. He doesn't need it. Or the 75mm does it. Now the infantry can finally shift. I mean, I'm not rooting for any of these plays. I just want to, like, this is such a prime target. The critic is right there. I do want to see the disaster happening. Like, we all know this when you're staring in the abyss and you're like, oh, but I can't resist. Now, They're still firing. No, this one is can be direct firing now, I guess. Starts doing so. Veltra trying to save the day. I mean, he's lost one. US Rifle now moving in. Brandenburger coming in. I think he might have lost his chance there. Oh no, nothing here can deal with the Sherman. 105 going down. These do not have... None of these have AT, right? No. Oh my god. Look at all those transports there. Oh my god. Oh, but it's not being manually targeted, so it always goes for the thing that is pinned the least. Which means it's not really going to finish any of those. That's just very, very sad. Ah! No. Might be able to finish off that 105. Okay, just has to cycle through a couple of times, but now the Panzerschreck is coming in. If the Sherman manages to kill that off, it's going to be huge. If it doesn't... What is it doing now? Still has ammo. Ammo now driving forwards, I guess, as distraction. As the Panzerschreck moves in, Sherman doesn't see it. Panzerschreck gonna unload. It's gonna get it off. No. Koenig retreating in time. Wow. Really close, but I think he could have gotten way more out of that. His air rifles, though, we were kind of busy looking there, watching over there. His air rifles managed to push forward, grab this flag, bring it to 1410, but the Brandenburger forced his air rifles off here, which brings it, or which maintains the 1410. Let's bring it to a 15-9. Now, at the same time, Brandenburger pushing up north here. Partigiani cannot really do much about it. The M15 is going to be a brick wall for the Brandenburger, unless it gets so close that the Brandenburger can actually throw the grenade into it. Because remember, every infantry unit can throw grenades in open-top vehicles at, I think, below 60-meter range, something like that. There we go. Sherman gets killed by J7. This is what we talked about. For this flag, we grab back to 1311 for Koenig. Mimile about to bring it to 12-12. There we go. 12-12 is achieved. And Koenig is looking very weak on map. He really doesn't have a lot. Mimile has definitely a lot more. So maybe Koenig was, I guess, just a little bit overreaching there, I think. And I mean, he lost a lot right here. He lost the 105 here, lost the M15 here. And these tools would have been super good to keep controlling the center. And the Sherman fell now just as a consequence of him losing that M15. I think that was just way too ballsy by Koenig. It definitely pressured Mimile quite a bit, but it didn't really pay off. Now, infantry coming in, but it's partly... Oh no, these air rifles there as well. Problem is, if they are too far away to stop the L6 right here, the L6 will be able to kill everything here again, so... I think this is GG's for Koenig. I don't think they can. And the problem is now as well that, like, there's so few units of Koenig. Mimile can just dominate everything with the artillery. He still has 4 artillery pieces out of the initial 5. He's running low on ammo, though. I think he still should have 1 left, right? Or is he out completely? Also, I mean, they're still pretty much full, so they can still continue to shoot. Oh no, that's the last one. So he used up all of the supplies. Still has ammo in it, so you can still use them. LG-42 now come in, sent to secure things off, and there's nothing here to contest him. Or no 105, no Sherman up close that could just shred it. No nothing. Brandenburger, yeah, probably going to lose that L6 though, dominating. It can definitely kill off the NSA 6-pounder. Although it has veterancy. And it needs to spot it first, which is going to be a problem. This doesn't have radar there. No, it doesn't. It's just a fanatical, which is very odd for an AT gun. Gets the first shot off. Doesn't kill though. Brandenburger pushing forward. Might be able to re-grab this. 1311 for Miller, by the way. Yeah, the L6 gets the gets a few bursts off, but not really enough. Brandenburger going after his air rifles again. Panzerschreck coming in. That could definitely kill the M16. And I mean, yeah, Koenig has basically nothing left here. Partigiani will die. Mimile bring it back to 15-9 if he gets that. I do think though that Mimile probably is running out of infantry as well. We haven't seen a lot of new Brandenburger coming. That might have been the reason why he didn't actually call in any to secure this, because he probably wanted to save it for the moment where he really needed it, which should come eventually. That's not the one coming in. So still has some, but it's probably very low. He also brings a big Fusilier in, which, I mean, recon in general is very useful, but I guess he also wants some tools that are not regular infantry, because it's still needed for where you actually need to hold flags, right? You have to be a little bit careful. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and he actually still a lot. But I felt like he didn't. He probably didn't by the amount that he called in. But look at that. I just want to point this out. This is so beautiful how both of these players maintained a lot of veterans everywhere. I mean, the Battlefur here has been moving around these areas for a long time and is providing very good veterancy. Koenig also had these leaders alive for quite a while. Really, really good game. It looked like Koenig could turn it around for a brief moment, but then everything collapsed and Mimile secured the win with Koenig surrendering. Yeah, Mimile was out-trading Koenig super hard by 1,000 points, which definitely matters a lot. Acknowledge I mean, yeah, Mimile had definitely had a good start there. Koenig kind of put up a fight, but couldn't really secure itself super well. And a lot of this, is light armor that is not super expensive for both players, though. So that's not necessarily anything unique to Koenig that he killed. And then Mimile just kind of continued, yeah. And then Koenig, he came back actually when we didn't really see, because Mimile was still pressuring him hard, but I think it just persisted by the looks of it. Now, some of the things that Koenig killed were actually really expensive. All the Brandenburgers, for example, and same is not true for every unit that Mimile killed, but Mimile still killed plenty of expensive units. I mean, all the armor really adds up really, really quickly. I mean, it just continues. Look at that. I was kind of expecting there to see a patch of Koenig doing well again, but it's really just Mimile for the most part. In terms of kills, the T-70 early on did some good work. The cavalry scouts definitely did good work. I mean, these things are fantastic. The 105, if I look at this and go, that did a lot of work. I think losing these was so horrible for Koenig, actually. These air rifles, and this thing is also pretty useful, because, I mean, you can deal with all that light armor and still slap at range a little bit. Not against a Brandenburger, of course, but you can still do it a little bit. 105 here, doing some more work. This one as well. See, the 105s were really, really useful there. The M16 shredding some infantry as well. Pretty nice to see that. Now, on the other side, we do have this thing actually didn't do super well. The 37mm, yeah, actually killed a lot of armor, and this thing paid off super well. And then the J7, of course. I mean, killing 3 Shermans and then I made this thing was 100% worth it. Flak fiddling actually wasted infantry. I didn't even notice that. And the P-51. And then nothing that really, yeah, a lot of units that's, just traded good. Like nothing that's really standing out, but I mean, everything here just generated good value. This thing, okay, this thing maybe not that much. But look at that, as big strife. Killed more than it was worth. The SS Fallschirmjäger, same thing. The M15, same thing. Another Brandenburger, same thing. I mean, it's not by a lot. It's only 5 points more worth of Koenig's unit, but still that matters, that adds up. The Pack 40, look at, I killed 2 more 105. Oh, this is so... And then the artillery, of course. So far we haven't actually seen a lot of that doing super well, but this one, yeah, look at that. Killed an animal, killed supply, killed 75mm and some infantry, and then we have the K35. I mean, this thing is an absolute beast, and this, by the looks of it, is where really reshifted. Another 105 dead, another 81mm dead, 50 cals, infantry. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, this thing also killing it with 75 and 6 pound already paid itself off as well. So yeah, pretty well played here by Mimile, but also Koenig gave it a good fight. I just really don't think that his division was a good pick for this map, to be honest. I think he did very well with what he had, but it was a rough game for him for sure. But yeah, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it, and have a great day. See you next time.